a couple other things. I'm going to try to keep this relatively quick. Opening remarks. The first thing the school board would like to do is acknowledge that we did not do a good job of effectively communicating its position on the petition warrant article prior to the vote on March 8th. And because of this, a number of voters were probably not clear on the intent of the warrant article or the history behind it and the legal ramifications. So the point of this presentation is to clarify those issues. Many of the points that I'll be making in the presentation were brought up in a variety of different forms during budget committee meetings, school board meetings, but we never put the whole package together in one coherent form of communication so that we could get our point across. So that's what we're trying to do tonight. We're also committed to doing a better job of communicating in the future so that this doesn't happen again. And a key vehicle for this communication is going to be the district website. In fact, this presentation and the supporting documentation, the minutes from the various meetings that we've got quotes from in this presentation are all either already posted on the district website or will be posted on the district website. I think we're also going to be trying to post the video of this presentation on the website. So let's talk about the history. Okay, the SAU Planning Committee was established in July 1997, okay, to consider withdrawal from SAU 30. You can see the membership of the committee there. And before I move further, one of the comments that's been made in a number of meetings in the past month or two has been that people who were not here back in 1998 and 1997 when this was happening should refrain from making comments on what they think or don't think happened. And that is a valid point. I'll submit it's also valid that even if you were here at that time, even if you were a member of some of these committees at that time, your memories of what happened may very well be different than other people's memories of what happened. So the only really definitive way to determine what happened back in 1997 and 1998 is to use the official minutes of the meetings that were held to discuss these issues. All of the quotes that are in this presentation are from those official minutes. So for example, there was a public hearing on December 16th, 1997, where the SAU Planning Committee Chair, Representative Clark, stated this, and talking about the proposed management plan for the new SAU was a work or plan in progress. That was a direct quote. Actually, the whole quote there is a direct quote, but the term work or plan in progress was quoted within the minutes, and that the school board will be the body that fine-tunes the particulars. Another one of the committee members, Ms. Magnuson, stated that the majority of the committee felt that the administrator should have an educational background during the school district meeting on March 18th, 1998, where the actual vote to withdraw from SAU 30 was taken. Just prior to that vote, Mr. Clark, again, the chairman of the SAU Planning Committee, stated that the committee's recommendations were illustrative only and attempted to address public concerns of costs. Nothing was cast in stone, and decisions concerning the qualifications of personnel would be made by the school board in accordance with state law. After he made that statement, Ms. Croney, the chair of the school board, stated that the issue before the voters was a conceptual one, which would allow the board to move forward with more definitive plans. So given those two statements that were made just prior to the vote, we believe that the voters at the Guilford School District meeting in March 1998 were clear that the vote was to withdraw from SAU 30 and that the school board would decide later, in accordance with state law, what the exact administrative structure would be. After the vote to withdraw from SAU 30 was passed. Another committee was formed, the SAU Transition Committee. And its mission was to continue the planning and preparation for the start of SAU 73 in July 1999. You can see the members of that committee. Two of the members of that committee were also on the previous committee, the SAU Planning Committee, Kent Barron and Evan Juris. And as you can see, the committee was tasked to look at three primary areas: personnel, budget, and location for the new SAU. There was a public hearing on December 3rd, 1998, where the SAU Transition Committee made its recommendations on what the administrative structure for the new SAU should look like. As you can see, they recommended the present staffing, which includes a superintendent, business administrator, secretary, bookkeeper, and receptionist. They also recommended a budget, as you can see, $287,000, and they proposed that the location be in the Guilford Town Hall. There was discussion during that meeting about these recommendations. There were questions from a number of concerned individuals, some of whom had also served on the SAU Planning Committee, about why these recommendations differed from the proposal that was made by the SAU Planning Committee. Mr. Juris, who was a member of both committees, stated that the circumstances had changed, and specifically in regard to the financial personnel and staffing in Town Hall, some additional information that they had gotten from the SAU 30 business administrator, and further investigation into what actually superintendent services constituted. There was then further discussion when the committee's recommendations were brought forward at the school board meeting 2 weeks later on December 21st. And based upon the recommendation of, or the school board at that time approved, or unanimously voted to approve the recommendation that was made by the SAU Transition Committee. Legal status. Dr. Domenico just read the letter from Dr. Fillion that states, as you can see in the three sub-bullets there, the statutory requirements for superintendent services. As we already mentioned, this letter will be, the letter that Dr. Domenico read will be posted on the district website along with these slides. And actually this slide includes, there's the letter right there. Also, the school attorney, Barbara Lohman, Barbara Lohman, also stated a number of times prior to the petition warrant article before the vote that based upon her analysis of the state law, that the petition warrant article was advisory only and non-binding. The next couple slides are going to address what we see as the advantages of the current administrative structure that we have in the district. I'm not going to go through the long laundry list of bullets, but there's a few that I want to highlight. For example, the second bullet there about test scores. We had a meeting 2 weeks ago where we spent a long time going through the test scores, and one of the things that I was a little disappointed in was because of the controversy involving the superintendent's position, that the positive signs that we're seeing in test scores, particularly for the normal students within the school district, that was not widely reported. But our test scores actually, if you go back and take a look at what we were talking about 2 weeks ago, our test scores are improving. The next bullet there, the school board and the school district hasn't been sensitive to the trying economic times and the fact that our enrollments are decreasing. So we have implemented staff reductions just a few years ago with the eliminating the assistant principal position at the elementary school and the family consumer science teaching position, which at the time were unpopular moves. Again, I'm not going to go through all of these bullets. They will be posted on the district website, as I mentioned, and I also have a number of hard copies of this briefing that will be available at the end of the meeting for anybody who wants them. So, the conclusion. Based on the facts just presented, based upon what's in the official minutes of the meetings that I discussed, we believe that it was clear that the voters at the school district meeting in March of 1998 understood that the main objective of the vote was to decide whether or not to withdraw from SAU 30, and they understood that there was no finalized management plan for the new SAU, and that plan would be decided at a future time. The Guilford School Board did not arbitrarily change from the proposed management plan that was presented by the SAU Planning Committee. We continued, well, I was not here at the time, but the school board followed a process where they let the SAU Transition Committee continue to study the situation and make its recommendations on what the most effective management structure for the new SAU would be. And as I've already mentioned, 2 members of the SAU Planning Committee who were involved with creating the original proposal were also on the SAU Transition Committee. There was a public hearing in December '98 and then a school board meeting in 2 weeks later in December '98 where these issues were discussed, and then the school board accepted the recommendations of the SAU Transition Committee. I've already mentioned the letter from Dr. Fillion from the State Board of Education. Based upon that letter, based upon the applicable state law, the management plan that was proposed by the SAU Planning Committee is not an option because the Guilford School District does not meet the criteria. We have more than 2 schools and we have a lot more than 400 students. One other point that's been repeated a number of times is that all the Guilford school boards since 1999 and the current Gilmanton School Board unanimously agree that the current administrative structure is the best option for the Guilford School District, provides the best administration for the students of the Guilford School District. So the bottom line in bold, the last bullet, moving to that model would put the district in violation of state law. That is clear. And we also feel that it would jeopardize both the middle school and high school's accreditations and the progress that the school district has made in the last decade. So now I will open up the floor to questions and/or comments.